Test, test, test. Hey, welcome to another live stream by Virtual Flight Diaries. And crew, we are here with the FlightSim Studios 727-200 passenger version. And we're going to take her down to Sangster International in Jamaica, in Montego Bay. And we're using the Eastern Airlines livery, the Bi-Centennial, 1976. So we'll be using the CIVA or the Delco Carousel IV-A navigational system, which would have been more indicative of the time period. We're also using say Intentions, and the reason I'm doing that is I want to be able to do some more conventional stuff, and I don't want to have to mess around with other traffic and real world ATC. Even though there's no ATC online, there is a lot of traffic going into Jamaica. So we're going to be using say Intentions. So let's get on board, let's get fired up, and let's get out of here. This should be a fun flight.
Air France 616 Miami approach, roger. Air France 616 Miami approach. Climb and maintain flight level 220.
All right, so first things first, we're going to load in the flight plan. Get all our weights going, and we'll get the fuel on board, and we'll get the boarding started.
RO feed.
And we'll get some ATIS going.
0,000 feet. Few at 15,000 feet. Broken at 25,000 feet. Temperature 29er. Dew point 23. Altimeter 3008. Density altitude 1500 feet. Arriving and departing runways 9er, 8 right, 12, 8 left. Caution bird activity. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Oscar.
Okay, we have Oscar.
Miami International Air.
All right, we'll get clearance on. All right, so let's get this navigation system programmed up. We're trying to figure out what the best way to do this is. So we're going to try this. Yeah, so I was tinkering with the idea of going to San Juan, but that's 2 hours of airtime, and unfortunately I had to work later today. So I cut it back to Jamaica, which should still be fun, but it's a little less time because we got a little bit of a later start. So, all right, let's load the flight plan in here. So a lot of cool things are happening with SimBrief, and one of them is the ability to pick all VORs. So you can kind of go like a legacy flight plan, which is a lot easier to use with an airplane like this. All right, so we're gonna get the OFP in. So what we're going to be looking for here is our latitude and longitude to program this. So we're going to get up and we're going to turn this on to standby first. And we're going to go to position, which is going to be our alignment lat and longitude, and I'm just going to use Miami because there's no gate position for this one. A lot of things you could do, you can look at the charts. A lot of large airports have lat and longitude positions for each gate.
American
and
25
you put that in for your gate. But we're kind of on a remote gate, so there's no lat longitude. So we're just going to program. We're going to align it for Miami Airport. So we'll go here. We'll. That's the only problem is I can't zoom this really, but we'll see here. So Miami. So it's 2547. We were looking for this decimal. That's the setup here. All right. So we're going to hit north. Make sure that goes to 0. That's going to show our first position. And we look here, 2547.7 to 25477. You don't have to, if there's a 0, you don't have to start with the 0. And then after you program it in, you just hit insert. And then you go over west. And that'd be 8017.4. 8017.4.
589, request IFR clearance to
There's our alignment position, so we're going to start aligning. Next, we're going to go to waypoint, and we'll go to our first waypoint. So our first waypoint is going to be our top of climb. Wait, no, not top of climb, I'm sorry. It's going to be UCJ. It's going to be our first waypoint.
Clear to Louisville via the flag to departure. Climb maintain 8,000 feet. Specify level 30.
So we're going to go north. Make sure that insert's lit up.
Runway 8 left, ground 13.
Go to this one. Make sure we have it, and you have to get this right because if you got it wrong, you're going to be way off course because there's no way to really get a fix on where you're at other than triangulating VORs if you have them. So 2228. 2228. Now, if there's a 0 at the end, you have to put that 0 in. Okay, so you make sure that there's always a number after the decimal point. And we'll insert that. West is 7818.7. You guys can't see this, can you? Hang on, let me get this in here. See if we can fix that.
772 Southwest.
I can barely see it.
32 terminate.
7818.7.
Correct.
7818.7. Yep. Okay. Insert. All right. So that's in. So let's see here. How's that look? Is that better for you guys? I don't want to go any bigger because I'm going to have a hard time. I'll be obscuring my INS. Hopefully this is big enough for you guys. I'm sorry if it isn't. All right, so first waypoint is in. So we're going to go to 2. And we'll hit north. So the next one is going to be our top of descent. I always like to put this top of descent waypoint in because it gives me a reference point when to start down. That way I can cross-reference it with the top of descent calculation, but it gives me a good spot. So we got top of descent, so that's 2009.7. So okay, so 2009.7. Insert that. Go west. West is 78050. So we got 78050. Insert that. Waypoint 2 is in. We're going to do waypoint 3. And waypoint 3 is going to be the Sangster VOR. The Sangster VOR. Okay, so that's north 18.
Departure on 126.05. Squawk 1427.
American ADO 10 Heavy, read back correct.
1831. And insert that. West. And you can see here, we've got northwest, east, and south. They're the cardinal points on the compass. And that's what we have to pick there. So west is going to be 77554. 77554. Insert that. And always make sure you hit insert after that, after each entry. All right, so it's a shorter flight, so we're only going to have 3 waypoints in. But we'll do number 4, which is going to be the airport itself.
American 9920, looking for IFR.
So we got north 18,
and
30.2. Insert that, and west 7754.8. And we'll insert that. And then we got our 4 waypoints in. And then what you would do is you would go back through and verify them all. But I think we're good. So what we're going to do now is our first waypoint is actually a VOR that we're going to use. We didn't put it in the INS. And we're going to get that in the box. So that's 117.1. And we'll come down here and we'll go 117.1.
Papa.
Clear to Minneapolis via the Hurricane for departure. Initial climb 6,000 feet. Departure is 18.1. Squawk 5524 with Delta 2129.
Miami clearance, American 1977, ready to pick up our IFR.
All right, so that's that. That's all in there. So let's start.
Whiskey.
We're still boarding. So while we're doing that, let's get our flight crew going. I like to use the flight crew because this is a lot to do, and especially on stream. And I'm just not familiar with single pilot running at all the stations. Yeah, let's be honest. It's good, but you know, it's good to have a crew. It's reality. So I got to go through all the checks, all the flows. And we're going to do our stuff.
Speedbird 559, request
I have to get some integral lighting in.
To Madrid.
Gonna juice up the cockpit a bit.
Speedbird 559, request IFR clearance to Madrid. Clear to Madrid via the Falls EZ3 departure, then as filed, climb and maintain 4000, expect flight level 370, 10 minutes after departure. Departure on 118.1, squawk 1666, expect runway 26 west.
So the APU is actually in the wheel well, and this is the vent for it. So the APU controls are back here. The engineer is in charge of all that.
I am working on that
All
clearance.
right, so we're just waiting for that all to get done.
JetBlue 1906 with information Quebec requesting IFR clearance.
Our fueling is done, so we can get the seatbelt signs on, and the no smoking signs can come on. It's 1976, so our passengers will be allowed to smoke. And while we're waiting for that, let's get our clearance. Miami clearance Eastern 676. I'd like to pick up our IFR to Sangster International.
Eastern 676, Miami clearance, cleared to Sangster. Radar vectors Virginia Key, then is filed. Climb and maintain 9,000. Expect flight level 35010 minutes after departure. Departure on 118.1 squawk 1612. Expect runway 8 right.
All right, cleared Sangster. Vectors Virginia Key, then is filed. Climb, maintain 9,000. Expect flight level 350 10 minutes after. Departure on 118.1 squawk 1612, and we'll plan for 8 right for departure. Eastern 676. All right, so we got 1612. I kind of like the transponder down here. Now I know in the freighter version, we'll just turn that on. On the freighter version, it's up here on the dashboard. It's a little, or up on the overhead, so it's a little easier to, or harder to control. This kind of gives it right here.
We kindly ask you to take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats.
All right, so once that light comes on, we go to nav, and we're good.
Don't hesitate to reach out to any of our crew members. Thank you for choosing Eastern Airlines, and we hope you have a pleasant flight.
And our first waypoint is 28 miles away. And that checks.
Delta 5128, cleared to Cancun via the GLADS 3 departure.
And you can go through.
Climb and maintain 5,000. Expect flight level 40010 minutes after departure.
Well, I'd have to actually go through waypoint change, which I'm not going to do because I'm worried that I'd screw it up.
Clear the GLADS 3 departure. Then as well.
All right, so we're all boarded up.
Expect flight level 40010.
So we're going to go to takeoff and calculate our takeoff speeds.
In the box, Delta 5128.
And we'll go 8 right for departure. Do flaps 15 takeoff. Let's get the weather aligned. All right, we'll set the EPR in trim and we'll set our V speeds. We do have the auto throttle installed. I know that in 1976 this plane did not have an auto throttle, but it's just a little quality of life that makes it easy in cruise. So, all right, so takeoffs are all set. And we'll close up that entry. We'll close up the aft stairs, the DB Cooper stairs.
Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect flight level 21010 minutes after departure. Departure frequency on 118.1. Squawk
Boarding stairs. APU is on, so we'll remove the ground power unit. Clearance and checks.
Information, Juliet. I'd like to get our IFR clearance to rotate.
All right. Everything's disconnected. Let's do our before start. We're going to start up on stand and do a power back because why not? It's 727 anyway, right? And that's in 1976 they would have been doing power backs anyway. It was very common. So
Delivery Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, IFR to Atlanta. Okay, cleared Atlanta, Flango 2, then is filed, initially 7,000 feet, we'll expect 280 and 10. Departure 18-1, squawk 6251, we'll expect runway left.
Miami clearance, FedEx 77 with information whiskey request IFR clearance to Aziza International in Buenos Aires.
all right, so going through their checks, we're all set. That's all set. In cruise, we'll look at some other VORs. It's a short flight, so we won't have to align the INS again in flight, and that's all good. The accuracy numbers will go off, and it'll drift actually about a few miles every hour, but we're only going to be an hour in flight, so we're not going to drift anywhere. So. And we'll get ground on and get permission for startup on the gate. Miami ground, Eastern 676, permission to start up on the gate.
Eastern 676, Miami ground, startup approved at the gate.
Startup approved, Eastern 676. We'll also take a look at the cabin. This one actually has an Eastern cabin. It's a work in progress, but it looks pretty good. All right, start up. So it's 3, 1, and then 2. Get that click spot. We're going to watch up. We're going to wait for the oil starter light to cut out. And it does around 20.
Uniform is now current. Altimeter 3005.
Ground American 21.
Oil pressure.
Ready for taxi for departure. Runway 8 right.
Introducing fuel.
All right, 8 right via November 7, Mike 1, American.
We got ITT rise. It's good. We'll wait for cutout.
Delta 328, 884, information Foxtrot, ready for push and start.
There's cutout. Turn in engine 1. There's oil pressure, introducing fuel. Get up. Should have light off shortly. There's light off. Just watching for a good start. There's no hot start, no hang start. Temp looks good. Here's rollback. And we got cut out. So turn in engine 2. Monitor the gauges. There's oil pressure, introducing fuel. There's light off. This engine 2 was an S duct, and I'm going to explain something to you that I learned about the S duct engine 2. It has to do with how they manage the throttles. So this one, engine 2, always kind of was pushed forward. Was never in line. So there's always a split throttle operation in the 727.
Push back and start approved. Tail southeast.
All right, there's 3 good starts. That looks good. So let's do after start. And we'll request for a power back. So he's going to go through some more checks. We get our yaw dampener on. So our VOR is activated. So let's get that set up. We do course of 117. That looks kind of dark, doesn't it?
Miami ground in November 722, looking for startup clearance as well as pushback.
All right, so about 117 on the course, and let's go.
Thomas via the Falls V3 departure that is filed, climb maintain 4,000, expect 17,000.
Let's set up our cross track in the heading.
118.1 squawk 4245, expect runway 26 left, November 722.
That's our cross track in the heading, so that we can point towards our VOR. All right, that's all set. Altimeters are good. And we're just waiting for them done. After start, checklist complete. Miami ground, Eastern 676, request power back.
Eastern 676, power back approved at the gate.
Power back approved, Eastern 676. All right, let's go. So you got to be careful with doing a power back because you don't want to. You don't want to put the brakes on. That's the thing.
Information Charlie Square into.
All right, so we're gonna put the reversers on.
Runway 08 right via Alpha Bravo, warp Charlie America 1626.
Ground to flight deck, pushback complete. Please ensure parking brakes are set. Standing by for confirmation of good engine start and report when ready for disconnect.
Brakes have been set.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Confirmation of good engine start, and we're ready for disconnect.
from Miami to Sangster.
The
We
tug
have
is
an
already
estimated
disconnected.
flight time of 1 hour and 18 minutes. My name is Erica, and on behalf of our captain, John, and First Officer Emily, I would like to introduce our fantastic crew members, Sarah, Mike.
There's our power back.
Before we take off, I would like to go over some
All right, parking brakes set.
Please ensure that your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap.
Double check that
Fasten
didn't
the
work.
seatbelt. Insert the metal fitting into the buckle until you hear a click. To release it, simply lift the buckle.
Go. And we'll get our taxi checklist.
To use the mask, pull it towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place it over your nose and mouth, securing it with the elastic band. Remember to secure your own mask before assisting others.
Do a flaps 15 takeoff.
727. There are 6 emergency exits. 2 at the front, 2 over the wings, and 2 at the rear. Please take a moment to locate
The taxi lights on.
which may be behind you. In the unlikely event of an emergency landing on water, life vests are located under your seat.
Miami ground, Eastern 676, request taxi.
Your head and pull the straps around your waist. Inflate it by pulling the red tabs or by blowing into the tubes. Thank you.
Eastern 676, taxi to runway 8 right via Papa Mike 1.
Shortly with our service, and after the meal, I will also
8 right via Papa Mike 1. Eastern 676.
tell the captain that the cabin is ready for departure.
All right, let's get out of here, guys.
Eastern 676, incorrect readback. Taxi to runway 8 right via Papa Mike 1.
Taxi 8 right via Papa Mike 1. Eastern 676.
Seven Whiskey Victor, say again, please.
All right, head over here to Papa. Gets rolling pretty quick. Alright, so Papa takes us right up to Mike 1. So, get right up to our departure.
Miami Ground, American 112, gate 141, ready for push and start.
American 112, Miami Ground, push and start approved, tail southeast.
We are off our taxi line. So there is a way to check ground speed if you want. We're doing about 22. It's a tracking ground speed. There's like a three-way intersection here. So this line is to go to 12, which is right over here. And this one is for 8 right, which is right here. Alright, park brake on. Let's get the before takeoff going. And we'll get the tower on. And our co-pilot will handle the radios. Alright. Miami Tower. Eastern 676, holding short runway 8 right, ready for departure.
Eastern 676, Miami Tower, runway 8 right, winds 120 at 7, fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 8 right, fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff, Eastern 676.
All right. All right, let's get some likes in the channel as we some rocket ship mode. The 727 is quite the slick little airplane. Well, not little. Interesting fact is the 737 Classic was also designed on the 727 shape. If you ever look at a 737 like 100, 200, it has the same shape as the 727. We overshot. It's fine. We got plenty of runway.
23 Golf, welcome to Miami. Contact ground on 132.375.
All right.
0.375, TDM 23 Golf. Good evening.
Skyhawk 788.
Ready? Let's go.
Contact departure 7.
We're set. You see how the needles are all even? It's a neat little trick, huh? down the center line. Here's V1. Up we go.
Contact departure.
Over to departure, Delta 2347.
Alright, we'll power back. Bring the nose down, accelerate it up.
Switching to departure on 118.1, Eastern 676.
I don't know why the gear comes up automatically. It's
676 morning, climbing past 1,000 feet.
Eastern 676, Miami departure, radar contact. Climb and maintain flight level 350, turn right heading 120. Vectors to Virginia Key, then own navigation.
Climb and maintain flight level 350. Right turn heading 120 for vectors to BKZ, then own navigation. Eastern 676.
alright, so we'll turn out. 120.
FedEx 1276 Heavy. Climb and maintain flight level 270.
I'll get the autopilot on. Heading select. Altitude select.
FedEx 1276.
And we'll roll it down. Start accelerating out. Flaps up. .160, flaps 1. Or flaps 2, I should say. Yeah, we'll go flaps up.
American 8045, heading 295 approved.
Half hold. Oh, we passed our point. We'll actually go back to turn up. Alright, so we passed Virginia Key, but we weren't quick enough on that. Oh, and we are overspeeding. Crap. Alright. Come on, bring it back. Little speed brake action, slow us down. There's a lot going on. Alright, taxi lights can come off.
Level 210, American 1521.
JetBlue 1906, climb and maintain flight level 250.
Come on.
Miami Allegiant 278, will you provide vectors for us for the ILS runway 10 left?
Climb and maintain flight level 250, JetBlue 1906.
That's good. And we'll go IAS hold. That'll hold us on the climb out. And we can climb up to 350. And we'll just do some adjustments, make sure our climb power is set. A lot going on in the cockpit. Sorry guys for the lack of outside views.
Dear guests, we have now reached a safe altitude, and you are welcome to use your electronic devices. Please ensure that
Let's start heading down to Cuba.
Wi-Fi service is now available for your convenience. Thank you.
So what this is going to do is this going to point us in this direction to waypoint 1, which was the UJC. We're just going to do a bunch to navigate here. Get this all set up, get the flight directors pointed in the right direction. And I'll set our cruise speed. So we can accelerate now, we're above 10,000. Bring it down to 1,000 feet per minute till we get to acceleration speed. We'll go back to IAS mode.
Tango 1-2, Demon. United Tango 1-2, expect landing runway 9.
That's good. IAS mode. We'll start back climbing back out. It'll maintain this speed for us then. And we won't have to really worry too much about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the other VOR activated so that this is Jardines UCJ 117.8. And then we're going to put Sangster at 115.7 in here too.
Eastern 676, contact Miami Center on 128.175.
Switching to Miami Center on 128.175, Eastern 676.
And then we'll adjust our course heading. So this will help us cross-reference this will help us cross-reference our INS system, our INS navigation system. You see now we're pointed towards UCJ, but we're not using VOR navigation. We're actually using this box right here. But this just helps us cross-reference it. And then we'll just do some cleanup here.
Delta 1114, climb and maintain flight level 300.
Just in case we lose our system, we still have a heading reference. And our flight engineer is going to be adjusting our throttles to climb out. And we can actually help him along here. We still see how they're all lined up. We're still split. So this, because of the S curve in the engine 2, there's actually less thrust. You got to run it just a little bit harder to equal the thrust of the other two engines. So that's why it's a split throttle operation. It's pretty neat. I watched an Aerosucra video, and that's what they were doing. So then I deep dived a little bit, and that's why. So there's no GPS, so we don't worry about this. Everything's done through just regular VOR nav.
Contacting Homestead departure 12605.
So what this is how far away we are from UJC or UCJ, And this is how many minutes until we reach that waypoint. So we're looking at about 26 minutes. But these jets back in the 70s, yeah, everybody smoking if you got them. These jets back in the 70s, they ran at close to the barber pole the whole time. Like, the fuel burn wasn't a big deal in the 70s, I guess. Maybe they start looking at it more in 76, because I think that's when the fuel embargo occurred.
Miami
But
Center.
that's the year I was born, so.
1434, checking in on 380.
Alright, so after we got flaps up, gear up, climb power set. We got altitude select in the box, IAS hold, and we are alternate navigation. And yeah. It's 1976, we can fly with the cockpit door open. Look at that. So Eastern called themselves the Whisper Jet. So you ever heard of the Whisper Jet? And it was often, the 727s were often nicknamed the Whisper Jet, and it actually came from Eastern. Now those clouds look cool. I mean, just look at that plane. It looks like a rocket ship. I'm telling you. I absolutely love the 727. And I know a lot of people share that sentiment as well. What's cool is looking at some old pictures with this livery with the Bi-Centennial sticker on it. It was sitting outside the ramp at Atlanta. We could actually turn off our landing lights. Pretty slow climber. It's almost like an Airbus. They did a pretty good cruise climb. I mean, we can max climb it. We can go down to 250, but they always did a cruise climb. At least that's from my readings. So let's check out this cabin while we climb out. Looks so cool. And the toilets in this flush, guys. They actually sound like a flushing toilet. It's pretty cool. An airplane toilet, I should say. Yeah, there's a lot of complaints that this is kind of low res. I get it. I think a lot of them are going with a slightly low res cabin just for frame rates. I mean, once you get here, it doesn't look that low res. Got the galley here. Actually, we're kind of low. Let's get proper height. So this is a two-class configuration which held 134 passengers. The two-class configuration. You could go single class and actually fit, like, I think it was 189 passengers.
Miami Center, FedEx 650 with you, 11,000.
FedEx 850, Miami Center. Contact Miami approach on 118.1.
So it's not the iFly. These don't work. But we can live with that. Especially when we got, you know, the toilet back here also flushes. All right, so we got flushable toilets now. We need working sinks. No, this is just a closet. There's nothing in here. See, we got access back here to the DB Cooper door. I'm not going to open that up because we're pressurizing. Oh, these panels work too. Cool. Looks like we could switch on the intercom. Open the air stair. Yeah, we're not going to do that either. It's pretty cool, and if you look, we got some magazines, and the cue card is Eastern as well. This guy did some pretty good detail. Wings look pretty good. I don't know what that is. A little paint chip or something. I don't know if we're going to get too much wing flex. The 2.7 had some pretty stiff wings, which meant it was probably pretty much hellish on in turbulence. I wish I had the opportunity to fly in a 727. That would have been awesome. I've seen them at an air show. You know, you get they're parked there kind of deal where you get to walk through. I've been inside a 727 and the DC-9. Both had that air stair, the rear air stair, that DB Cooper stairs. So I don't know how many times. What is that? Does everyone know? Does anyone believe that the DB Cooper thing, you know, that he made it? I don't know. I know it happened. He did jump out the back, but you think he survived? I don't know. So what do we got? 1 to 2, or 0 to 1, and then 1 to 2 is going to be our top of descent. So this will I have this switch. It'll automatically switch to the next waypoint. Oh, I know what we need. We need music, right? I gotta get a bunch of different soundtracks set up. That's what I gotta do. Take the time and set up some because we're always running the cruise jazz. I think we need different vibe music. What do you think, chat? I think the crew needs a choice in music, right? So all the stuff works. You can open up the windows. I would suggest we do that on the ground. We don't want a decompression. So I've never been into this airport using the VOR intercept. It's always been a magenta line approach to Sangster, and this is going to be interesting. So we're gonna. Why don't we review?
ABM 22, climb and maintain flight level 120.
That's MKJS. What? What? No. Huh. Okay, that's weird. Load it in. Oh, that stinks. All right, so it's a localizer approach to so we got the ILS DME approach. So we're going to be coming in at CIA, which is the Sangster International Airport VOR. And when we intercept this VOR, we're going to make a heading turn to 280. We'll track this out 280 to the 13 nautical mile DME arc, and then we're going to make a
American 655 Miami Center, roger.
left-hand turn into the ILS approach.
American 655, go ahead.
So we got 3,000 at Maxi, and then we're going to descend to 1850. So we'll probably come in under Maxi, and we should be able to intercept prior to this. And then we'll do an ILS approach. Seems simple enough. So decision height is 305, which is 300 feet above the ground. And let's go over our missed approach real quick. So climb on a heading of 73 degrees at 500 feet. Turn left to 322. And then we're going to head out to the 13 DME VOR arc. And we'll come back around to a Maxis and we'll do the other approach again. But also, we could actually, what I might do is, if traffic permits, which I know it will, if we have to do a missed approach, I'm just going to do a pattern re-entry. Because we should be visual. So we shouldn't really need the ILS. So we'll just do a downwind and we'll rejoin.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached our cruising altitude. We will begin our snack and drink service shortly. Today we have
the autopilot or the auto throttle and cruise.
Famous chicken salad and the delicious cheese platter. After the
About to have the delicious cheese, the Eastern Airlines cheese platter.
Thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoy the flight.
All right, so that's our approach brief.
Eastern 676, Havana Center, please expedite your climb to flight level 350.
Expediting climb to flight level 350, Eastern 676.
Probably because we didn't set our barometric pressure right to standard. That's fine. Just want to try to reset the altitude select so it doesn't grab a previously selected altitude. I noticed that that happens. Alright, 1,000 to go. Yeah, we came up a little short.
Eastern 676, I'll start your descent in about 20 minutes.
Of course, unfortunately, I'm not sure, but in 1976, I don't think we would have had a female co-pilot. I don't think female first officers were a thing in 1976, and that was unfortunate, in my opinion, an unnecessary thing. All right, so there's the proper altitude.
Cleared to Monzolano. After departure, flight radar vectors CS421, then is filed. Departure runway 8, initial climb is 4,000. Departure on 119.1.
They really do overdo the contrails and the smoke. I don't know if these engines were that smoky. It is cool though that they have the 3 though. Absolutely love this livery. I'm actually very happy now that we have the 7.2 passenger version. We do so much old or classic jet age ops in this thing. So I proposed a livery on FlightSim TO, and it was accepted. We're going to be doing Northeast Airlines Yellowbird in the 7.2. And I want to recreate a flight from Philly to Jacksonville in 1969. It was a flight my dad talked about when he said he flew Yellowbird going back to NSA Jax. He was stationed there for training during the Vietnam War. And so we're going to do a little tribute flight for my dad in Northeast in the Yellowbird livery. It's going to be pretty cool. And I had a friend of mine growing up that his dad was a pilot for Eastern in the 80s. I guess maybe it was the late 70s, 80s. And flew 7.2s. So this one, the Bi-Centennial one's pretty cool. I do like the all-metal Eastern, the bare metal Eastern, also bare metal American is pretty cool too. Any bare metal, yeah, I don't know. There's just something about the bare metal versions of these planes that are pretty wild. All right, so we got about 2 minutes left until we reach our first waypoint over Cuba. Now, in 1976, I'm not entirely sure we would have been flying over Cuba to go to Jamaica. But this is the route now, so I just picked it. We would definitely probably be circumnavigating Cuba, which probably would have added another hour to the flight. We'll see. We're going, let's see what our speed is. Yeah, we're at 537 miles an hour, or nautical miles across the ground. Yes.
Center, Avianca 7 Papa Foxtrot, flight level 358, descending flight level 100.
Are booking it, but so we're booking it. So that alert light is to let us know that we are close to our waypoint change. Yep. It was less than a minute that alert light comes on. Just let us know that we're going to be changing to the next waypoint. You're going to see it'll switch on its own automatically. We'll go 1 to 2. There you go, 1 to 2. And we got about 15 minutes to our top of descent. Gone over the VOR, so this should switch to from to from. Yep. There we go. Check the status of our thing. So we got a slight degradation. That's what this middle number is. So it's a scale from 0 to 9, 0 being perfectly aligned. But you can see we're at 2, which is still pretty good. Once we get, they say, so once you start climbing away from 1, you should do a realignment. But we're so close to our destination airport that it's not necessary. When we do our Yellowbird flight from Philly to Florida, which is going to be like 2.5 hours, we're going to have to do a VOR DME realignment to because we'll be way off course by the time we get to Florida. So we'll look at that.
Not bad. This is American 2625 at flight level.
Plus I want to do, some freighter ops, and I want, so it'd be a little more modern. I want to check out the, never had an opportunity to check out the GNS.
Confirmed. Destination Miami, American 2625.
The GNS programming, which is like a simplified FMC.
Confirming your destination is Miami.
But since this is 1976, that definitely wouldn't be in here. They have, so the ones that are flying today, and there's very few, less than 30 727s are still in operation, and they're all freighters. But we're they all have from what I've seen, they all have FMCs in them. They look like Boeing FMCs, like 737s. But the GLS, I think they're calling it, is their programmed version. But it was too modern for this flight to try out. So I'm going to definitely stream a freighter. Maybe we'll do USA Jet, or maybe we'll go back down to Brazil, do some total cargo. I think total cargo stopped using their 2.7s last year, but that doesn't mean we can't do it in the sim. Because, I mean, look, we're flying an Eastern. I mean, that's what the simulator is all about, right? And a little bit of stutters. I don't know what's causing that. I think I might have to dump my cache again. Alright, so we're just going to monitor this for our top of descent. And we're going to go down to 3,000. We'll set that up. Approach brief is done. Let's set up. Let's finish setting up the ILS. So ILS DME for runway 7 was 1095. Oh, pardon me. Long day at work. 1095. Whatever you do, guys, I do not suggest picking a career in corrections. It beats you up. And the job takes you away from FlightSim, and you know, why would we want to do that, right? If you guys are watching this and you like this content, don't forget to hit that like button. Helps out the channel immensely. And if you really like my content, you can hit that subscribe button. That way you guys get notified when some more stuff is coming. Stream when I can. I try to do 2 live streams a week at least. Sometimes the job gets in the way, but if you like my stuff, you can subscribe, hit that notification bell, and get notified. If you really want to, you can join my Discord, and you get notified there as well. Just go over the procedures for landing. So at touchdown, you got to manually deploy the spoilers. So it's idle, touchdown, spoilers, reverse thrust. Always hit the spoilers. You want to kill that lift before you engage the reverse thrust. So you go like go right across. Alright, so I'm actually going to set 280 here just to get ahead of the plane. You probably wouldn't want to do this just in case there's a failure of the navigation system. If I in a panic auto mode kind of thing flick it to heading, it's going to start tracking 280, but we're not too worried about it. we are seriously cooking that fuel. So let's just dial that back a little bit. Yeah, you want it under 300 per inch, because this is thousands of pounds. Okay, we're used to seeing these gauges in hundreds. These are thousands of pounds. So we are burning almost 9,000 pounds of fuel an hour. This hour trip to Sangster is going to be 19,000 pounds of fuel used. Between climb out and taxi and flight, it's going to be about 19,000. It's a crazy amount of fuel. And you wonder why they wanted to get rid of it. These were not fuel efficient airplanes at all. And they were loud too, even with the hush kits. They were still loud.
Havana Center, American 1818. The MEDAR is not available at Marshall Airport. I'm kind of wondering if you could give us current weather conditions for the Leonard M. Thompson field, please. Thank you.
Maddie 1818, Leonard M. Thompson weather, QNH 1011, winds calm, visibility 10 miles, few clouds at 2500 feet.
Barometer 1011.
That's curious. So I don't know if you guys heard that.
Visibility 2500 feet. Current temperature at Marshall Field, please.
So you don't have the METAR at Marshall.
American 1818, do you have the current temperature at Marshall Airport, please?
Where did Say Intentions get the weather? Did they grab it from? Did the AI grab it from the internet, or did it kind of guess? Because I thought they grabbed it from the sim, and if there was no METAR at Marshall, where did it get it from? That's a curious. I was curious on that one. I wonder if it went and grabbed it from the internet. I don't know. But I like Say Intentions. It's come a long way. So is Beyond ATC. They're like neck and neck, guys. They really are. And now Say Intentions does have traffic injection. But we're not allowed to film it yet. All the partners, in order to get traffic injection, had to sign an NDA. So I could talk about it. I just can't show you guys. Can't even show you pictures of it. But it's getting there. It's pretty good. But, I mean, I could see why they don't want us to show you. That's all I can tell you with that one. Because it's not ready. It's alpha still. And they're worried that it'll show a bad light. You know, even though we would explain, I mean, I would explain it's an alpha and that it's going to have mistakes, but I guess to get too many hits, too many people want to complain that, hey, this doesn't work.
When you're ready to send, flight level 250.
They just don't understand what an alpha is, maybe. I don't know. Alright, so descend in 3 minutes.
Descend flight level 070.
Descending flight level 070, Eastern 676.
Alright, we're going to descend because this is an exact science here, so. So descent, we're going to shut off the auto throttle. We'll pull the power back. Go 1.8 on the EPR.
Kingston Center on 125.4.
125.4, American 27.
or 1.8 on the Eeper. See where that puts us. Altitude select, and we'll head on down. I'm gonna get it about 2,000 feet. I gotta keep eyeing this. I really do.
Now left our cruising altitude and have started our approach to Sangster. At this time, we kindly ask everyone to return to their seats and ensure that your seatbelts are fastened. Please note that
Seatbelt signs could come on and people could still smoke.
Thank you for your cooperation.
All right, coming on down, guys. Coming on down. All right, let's power back a little more. Let's go 1.4. I'm gonna start over speeding here in a second. Throw out some speed brake. We'll ride that barber pole all the way down. Not really. I would want to hit some turbulence and overspeed her. All right, so let's get things set up for landing. All right, so we're going to do flaps 30 landing, which is very common. Set the go around Eeper, and let's set our landing bugs. All right. All right, so we crossed over our top of descent, so it's readjusting and heading towards CIVA. Yeah, I'll get the flight recorder ready.
Can we get the airport code for that, please? 84 Juliet.
Smooth 84 Juliet, roger. Turn right, heading 194 for Ian Fleming International Airport. Descend altitude 3,000 feet. Advise when you have the airport in sight.
A little bit of speed brake out. I love this wing view. I really do.
Airport, descending to 3,000. We'll advise airport in sight, 84 Juliet.
Do a little video coming up on how to set up the camera views, because Flight Simulator has come a pretty long way in setting up like outside views, like this view. They used to have to go into the camera config and adjust some coding, and now you don't have to do that anymore. So I'm going to do a little video on that coming up. Probably that's probably going to drop Tuesday. If anyone is ever wondering that. Alright, looks like we're coming down pretty nice. How far are we? About 80 nautical miles. Yeah, that looks good. We could be a little high. We don't need to be we need to be 3,000 at Omaxi. So we could be a little high when we hit CIA. Not too high. I want to be close. I want to be close to 4,000 when we hit CIA. This should give us that. As frustrating as the sim can be, I'm really liking it. Knock on wood. Nothing. It still has its quirks.
Moonflower 780. Contact approach on 120.4.
Moonflower? That has got to be an Asian airline. Moonflower. I wonder what Moonflower is. Shut off the altitude hold on the flight director, so we don't need that anymore. Yeah, looks like we have Sangster up. And we're heading right for it. Like it. I like it. A sunrise over the Caribbean. That's nice. Screenshot. Yeah, so each time we switch waypoints, the degradation gets a little bit stronger. But I'm still comfortable with it. I'm going to start the flight recorder when we pass CIA, because there's going to be just too much going on. I'm going to end up forgetting it. Get our crew up and running. Alright, so we're past 18,000, so let's set the baro. Start slowing up here. (29, 28 nautical miles from CIA. I can always extend the outbound just a little bit if we're a little high. We might end up doing anyway. Throw out more speed brakes, help us slow up. And that looks good, right on the money. Let's set up our outbound.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now starting our final approach into Sangster. At this time, we kindly ask you to turn off your electronic devices and stow them until we arrive at the gate. Please ensure that your tray tables are put away, your seats are in their full upright position, and your seat belts are fastened. Our Eastern Airlines staff will provide you with information regarding your connection flights once we are on the ground. Thank you for your cooperation.
There's Jamaica right off our nose. It's actually working out pretty good so far. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Alright, we're going to start our outbound just a little early. Laps 2. Start slowing up here. Give her a little more juice. I don't know why it's a little dark here, so that's all set up. Flaps 15. Get some more power in there. It says start the recording. Now we got too much juice. Start descending in. Keep an eye on our speed. Now we're getting too slow. So the 7.2 is all about energy management. You want to make sure you got enough because she'll drop out from underneath you pretty quick. There's low capture. Probably going to overshoot it. That wasn't shallow enough. That's fine. She'll readjust. Wow, holy stutters, man. Yeah, my gear handle just doesn't want to work. That's why, because I have it on crew management mode. All right. All right, that looks good. You're down, flaps down, landing lights on. Of course, we lost ATC, so oh well. Sangster Tower, Eastern 676 on the ILS runway 7.
Eastern 676, Sangster Tower, continue approach runway 7, winds 125 at 4. Eastern 676, Sangster Tower, winds 125 at 4. Runway 7, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 7, Eastern 676. Yeah, so it has a little wobble on the ILS. I don't know what that is. Spoilers, reverse thrust. Welcome to Montego Bay. Stutters and all.
Eastern 676, welcome to Sangster. Contact ground on 121.7.
Contacting ground on 121.7, Eastern 676. Sangster ground, Eastern 676, cleared of runway 7. Good morning. We're ready to taxi to the gate.
Eastern 676, Sangster ground, taxi to gate via Alpha. Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Taxi
we
via
have
Alpha
just
to the
landed
gate,
at
Eastern
Sangster
676.
International Airport. What a smooth landing we had. Thank you, Captain John and First Officer Emily, for that excellent touchdown. As we taxi to the gate, please
Actually,
remain
felt pretty
seated
smooth.
with your seatbelts fastened until we come to a complete stop. Now, a little fun fact about Sangster. It's known for its beautiful beaches and vibrant nightlife, making it a popular destination for tourists. The weather here is quite warm, with a temperature of 29 degrees Celsius and a few clouds in the sky, so it should be a lovely day ahead. On behalf of the entire crew, including Sarah, Michael and Jessica, thank you for flying with Eastern Airlines today.
Thanks to ground at Blue 326 for information email. Request IFR clearance to Fort Lauderdale.
I'll have your clearance in just a second.
Clear to Fort Lauderdale via the LU-25 departure. Then
So that was the flight with the Delco Carousel IV-A INS system.
5763. Information MAC is current. JetBlue 326.
JetBlue 326, readback correct.
And we are certainly a stutterfest today. I don't know how good Flight Recorder is going to be with this. I haven't tried it yet. Yeah, so this gate looks good.
We'll expect runway 7 and we'll call for a push to start American 2611.
American 2611, roger, report ready for push and start.
Ground, JetBlue 1327, exiting Bravo.
JetBlue 1327, Sangster ground taxi to parking at your discretion. Good day.
We didn't park very well. Oh well. All right. So let's check out our landing.
Southwest 273, cleared to Orlando via the LU-25 departure, then as filed. Climb 4,000.
Oh, we don't need you anymore. What a beautiful bird, man. What a beautiful bird. Oh, wow. We just walked that right on. That is nuts. Yeah, one last thing. Hey, welcome in. Yes, that was a butter of a landing, man. We got to look at that again. That it was beautiful. Got to see that again. Can't get G's to work, so I don't know what it was on the landing. But certainly didn't spill anyone's tea on that one. Alright guys, that's going to be it for tonight's stream. Gonna wind that back. Well, thank everyone for watching. Thank you for all the likes, all the love, all the support. I really do appreciate it. And we'll go on to the next one. So until then, stay safe, stay healthy. This is Virtual Flight Diaries. My name is John. And see ya. Finally got G's to work. 100 feet per minute. 100 feet per minute.